People that will push you, people that will teach you to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I think when we're surrounded by yes men, we get stuck in this place where we're just comfortable and we just coast. And we don't get to pick up on the things that we don't know, and we don't get to be challenged on the things we don't know.
You know, if you are fortunate to work with someone that you could call a mentor, a teacher, instructor, really take advantage of those opportunities, especially when they're beating you down. You might think they're beating you down, but they're actually lifting you up. It took me a long time to figure that out, and I'm grateful for it. Make sure that you surround people that have, a similar mindset and ultimate goals, but also have a different approach or ways of thinking, and that you're challenged by opinions that actually matter when it comes to building a business. And when you're looking for a partner or partners, make sure that you find people that are hardworking. Do your due diligence. Make sure that you find out what they're all about. Learn about things that they've done in the past, things where they've had success. Above all, their failures.
I'd like to welcome everybody back to another episode of Men on the Mic. This is Jeff, your host. I'm super excited for today's guest. We have a lot we're going to talk about and unpack, a lot to learn. And so I want to introduce you guys to Scott Warner, and I'll let him tell you about himself.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Jeff. Of course. Love doing this with friends. And, you and I'm trying to remember how long ago we met. It's normal on social media. It's where we met, but it's been fun to follow you and get to know you better. And also looking forward to hopefully finding a way to work with you. Yeah. This guy comes highly recommend. I shouldn't be telling anyone this because you get picked up before, I'm ready to do that with you. But anyway, so I'm Scott, married, 4 kids, just loving life, man. I guess a lot of people would call me an entrepreneur. I own a couple businesses. I do a lot of coaching, the sports, baseball and football. I'm a huge Dodger fan.
Congrats.
And thank you very much. Like I play on the team. But we just witnessed the greatest World Series of all time.
It's a fun one to watch.
The best ever. And I was fortunate to beat a few games. But yeah, man, just enjoying life. It's really been an interesting few years for me. And, I guess many would consider me middle-aged at this point in my life, and I'm starting to see life differently for all the right reasons. And I'm grateful for some of the experiences that I've had, especially as of late, because it's really helped me to take a close look at priorities. And your priorities, especially the good ones, matter. And it's funny how life can pull you away from the things that matter most to you. And I think that I've had, in many cases, an awakening in the past few years to just check myself and to again focus on the things that really, really matter. I've been truly blessed. I have some of the most amazing friends, my family, my wife. I mean, my wife is my best friend. I truly have been blessed, and sometimes you take for granted some of the things that you've been blessed with, but I've had a chance to reflect a lot lately on some of the things that truly matter to me, and started recognizing a lot of things that maybe I didn't realize that were super important to me. So
I love that. That. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And thank you again for joining.
Yeah, man.
I want to start unpacking. You said recently you've had an awakening in the past few years.
Yeah.
And I'm super curious to what led to that experience, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, like I was telling you before we started this today, I've started a lot of companies. The one that I've been really, really focused on, and the CEO of Gig, started it in 2013. Recently, well, not recently, it's been a couple years now that I partnered with an incredible man with a tremendous background, one of the most successful influencers, that I've ever met, and I would say that's saying something. A guy that really helped me see a lot of things that I needed to take a closer look at, both personally as a professional and as a human being, and partnered with him back in end of 2022, and have had a few changes with regard to the business. I haven't really talked openly much about where I've been with things. I think the word has traveled a little bit, but I I chose about 8 months ago to step aside, to step down from the CEO role and kind of turn it back over to my amazing partners to help grow it and focus on some of the new industries that we've been really focused on. But I found myself not really enjoying what we were focused on.
Yeah.
And I started losing my reasons, my why for starting the company. And it's been challenging for me. I've been a nonstop go-getter. I mean, since the early days of high school. I was talking to my wife a while ago about it, how I really have not had a chance to sit back and relax since then. You know, back in high school, it was, we had to go and make money to pay for whatever my mom and dad put us to work, and we were in charge of, making our own way, paying our own way, I guess. So kind of stepping away from what I was doing before with gig, and not in heavy with the day-to-day stuff was wild. And it was interesting how all of a sudden I'm like, now what? Or, but I started getting, back into it. My partners and I just opened a donut franchise called Spudly Donuts.
Okay. Pleasant Grove, right?
Yeah. It's Linden Pleasant Grove. It's right next to that Walmart. I think it's the Linden Walmart. It used to be the old Italian place.
Okay.
Which shockingly I worked at back in the day, way back. And so, but what's interesting is I found myself being drawn to the reason that I started gig again.
Okay.
And so, after kind of taking a little break, I've reconnected with my partners, and I'm going to be back at it.
Okay.
And we can talk a little bit more about that later. But the other thing for me is, it's funny because I'm sure that Paul, my partner, will watch this. Paul really helped me and gave me reasons to reflect on my reasons for doing what I was doing and started, when I started my company. He challenged me in ways that I had never been challenged, to the point where I felt like I needed to punch him in the face a couple times, but really he was punching me in a loving way to help me recognize where I needed to be focused.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for him. And what's interesting is I didn't really start realizing what he was doing for me until a few months ago. Okay. Because a lot of the things that he was doing to me, I found myself seeing it in a negative light. And when someone loves you or cares about your well-being, a lot of times they'll challenge you and they'll push you. Yeah. They'll push you in ways that maybe you've never been pushed before. And he did that with me. This man ran a multi-billion-dollar company and had thousands of employees. And I've managed hundreds and hundreds of salespeople, but I never managed or oversaw thousands of employees. Yeah. And so he had a different way of thinking and taught me a lot. A lot of the things that he was teaching me while we were working closely together, I was frustrated, and I needed a humbling. I can't believe I'm sharing this with right now, but I just felt I should because
I'll take all the tea. I love this.
Yeah, man. If you are fortunate to work with someone that you could call a mentor, a teacher, instructor, really take advantage of those opportunities, especially when they're beating you down. You might think they're beating you down, but they're actually lifting you up. Yeah. And it took me a long time to figure that out. And I'm grateful for it.
That's awesome. I'm super curious with your partner that you've worked with, you're working with. What is your advice to people going into business who are looking to partner up with someone or look to go into business with somebody? What do they need to watch out for? Or what are the signs of, hey, this is a good partner?
This is a great question. I think I spoke to it once before somewhere, I can't remember, but I'll tell you this. The last thing that you want as an entrepreneur is to be surrounded by yes men. And what I mean by that is when I first started Gig and I was working with a lot of amazing people, I don't feel like I was really being challenged by any of them. And what I mean by that is my ideas were all gold. I had a couple that would challenge me or ask questions, but it's kind of just whatever I said was gold, and it wasn't all gold.
Yeah.
In fact, most of it was aluminum or trash. I don't know. It was not gold. But I was fortunate, about 5 years into the business to be surrounded by people that started challenging me, but not on the level of Paul Jarman. And make sure that you surround people that have, a similar mindset and ultimate goals, but also have a different approach or ways of thinking. And that you're challenged by opinions that actually matter when it comes to building a business and your business model. It is not a good thing to be surrounded by people that don't challenge you. And so when you're looking for a partner or partners, make sure that you find people that are hardworking. Do your due diligence. Make sure that you find out what they're all about. Learn about things that they've done in the past, things where they've had success. Above all, their failures. One of the things, and you and I spoke, you remember one of the questions that I asked you.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I asked you is, where do you struggle?
Yeah.
Where do you fall short? And I think there's something to be said about being able to speak to the things that you struggle with. And if you can do that, you'll go and find people that can fill that void. And, I learned that, your partners are everything, and you want to find partners that think differently than you, but are one and the same in purpose and working towards something. And so a lot of the guys that I worked with early on, as I started this software, I'm speaking in particular to Gig, we were very much alike. It was like working with a bunch of me's in many cases, which is not a good thing. And so you start wising up, and I'm grateful that I did that. But look for people that think differently than you, but also are anxious and willing to work towards the same ultimate goal.
I really like that. I think that's crucial, is people that will push you, people that will teach you to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we're surrounded by yes men, we get stuck in this place where we're just comfortable and we just coast.
That's right.
And we don't get to pick up on the things that we don't know, and we don't get to be challenged on the things we don't know.
That's right.
And so I like what you shared. I want to continue on this thought of choosing your partner, because you've been married and your wife is your best friend. And so what do you do with all the business that you're doing and having kids? How do you make time for your wife? How do you create that space for you and your partner?
How? It's really not how, it's just do it. Like, if you want a strong marriage, you do whatever it takes to make time. You want a strong bond and relationship with your kids, you do whatever it takes to make time. And there's a reason why I coach sports. Number one, I love sports. I enjoy it. I love learning the game. Love competing. I can't compete like I once did, so I'm gonna live it through my children. No, just getting to work with some incredible kids. I've been so fortunate and to work with amazing kids. But the reason that I truly started coaching was because I knew it was a way to keep me close to my kids. It was a way to make time, because if I didn't, I'm a workaholic, right? I shouldn't say I'm a workaholic, but I am. And but I know that it's important to set boundaries for yourself. And my wife is the most important person in the world to me. And it's my actions that prove that to her. And so date night once a week is mandatory. It's not even a question. It's crazy how many people do not go on dates every week with their spouse. It's like, do you want a good marriage or not? Like, do you want to make it through the tough times? You got to make time to have that time with the person you love most.
What is your go-to date night, real quick?
Man, Target, dude. That's no endorsement. That is an unpaid advertisement there, but Costco. I don't care what it is. Those are not good
just
dates.
Doing something together.
Just getting out, like breaking away. It's funny. She's going to laugh when she hears that. But, taking her to dinner, going to a movie, going go on a drive. It doesn't matter. Just make time. And I have made it a goal, no matter what it takes, regardless of the worst day in the world, I got to spend 10 to 15 minutes with every one of my kids every day, and double that with my wife. And so prioritize. I mean, there's no amount of money that should ever take precedence over your priorities, your family. You want a great family, you want a strong bond, and you want that for your lifetime, you have to make time. And I have a lot of really close friends that have unfortunately chosen to focus more on the money and the business than the ones that they love most. And again, unfortunately, some of them had to learn the hard way because it eventually took its toll. And a few of them aren't married anymore, but that was a choice that they made. And it's all a matter of prioritizing.
If you could go back in time when it was just you and your wife before you had kids, what's one thing you would do differently? Before I had kids, what would I have done differently? That's a tough one. I honestly have no regrets. I can't think of something that I wish that I had done a little bit differently with my wife. Or I think it went pretty dang well. If something comes to mind, I'll let you know. But we had good times. We spent a lot of good time together. I love that. I'm curious because with coaching sports, I'm sure you're a fan of a ton of athletes.
Oh yeah.
And so I'd love to see, you can only pick one athlete. Who is your favorite athlete and why?
Man, it's interesting that you asked me this question now, because I just had this conversation. So there's athletes of the past and there's current athletes. I'll tell you an athlete that has blown my mind over the course of the past few years. There's actually two of them, but I'm going to start with one. His name's Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, to me, is the greatest baseball player to ever live. But if you watch this man outside of what he does on the field, you start recognizing true greatness. I don't think I've ever seen a more humble, genuine person. How he treats his opponents. Anytime he steps into the batter's box, he greets the ump, tips his hat to the ump, to the catcher, tips his hat to the pitcher. I mean, come on, man. Who's doing that these days? There's something different about him. And there was a moment, I remember, they were playing the blessed Padres, who I have no love in my heart for, but I respect. There was a pitcher that hit another one of the Padre players from the Dodgers, and they retaliated and threw at Shohei and drilled him, I want to say right in his back. And as he's running to first, he could see his teammates in the dugout salivating, snot bubbles, ready to fight. And he looked back at his teammates and he said, "We're good. We're good. Come on."
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different. And, I talked with my boys about this moment because that's the kind of stuff that makes you great. And that's the kind of stuff that resonates. You don't forget stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kids need to look to great athletes for doing things like that, not flaunting their bling on the freaking field.
Yeah.
Not, with ladies all around them, gambling and throwing down hundreds of thousands of dollars in Vegas on the weekend, driving the greatest sports car. It is that. It's things like that make you different. So I just have been so impressed with Shohei Ohtani as an athlete. And, he plays on the Dodgers, which makes me maybe a little biased. But I have just been so impressed with him. And I would say that he's probably my favorite athlete, or the athlete that I respect the most currently.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Sports has always been a big part of my life. I played football, rugby, and track growing up.
Which one was your love?
Probably rugby. I played over in South Africa when my dad was an LDS mission president. And so it was like contact without the pads.
That's how it's done, man.
And I'm like, when I look back now, I kind of regret I had 10 concussions. And so that's why I stopped playing, because my body was just beat up.
Jeez,
and it was
man.
just, my parents were like, yeah, you'll be brain dead.
10.
And I'm like, let's
Good
keep
gracious.
playing. And so after 10, I was like, it's time to hang it up. But
Actually,
rugby-
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the game of football would be better without face masks? Maybe helmets up top, but do you think that we'd see less issues? Like, what if we took helmets off football players and let them play? Do you think the game would be the same? We've thought about that, because I feel like some of the recent, changes to the rules have kind of taken away a little bit from some of the excitement of football. However, maybe you can take some of those penalties away if you take helmets off. Remember the old school helmets
Yeah.
that, like, they were leather with nothing on their face and stuff? Like, what do you think?
Oh,
I'm curious to hear your
That's
thoughts.
an interesting. It either will lead to players playing softer and trying to be more protective of hitting, or it will do the opposite, and it will get back to the way that football was and more hitting. But that changes the whole dynamic, because you take away face masks. Now the defense can read the eyes of the offensive players, but vice versa. And so now you're going to have to rely on your natural talent.
Yeah, man.
Versus being able to go off cues. So
That's right. The eyes are important.
yeah, so it would change the game. It'd make it fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. I have to tell a quick story. So in high school, I played football at Mesa High. My junior year, we played a team called Brophy Prep. And they had an awesome quarterback. I can't remember his name. I hope this gets to him. But he had a glass eye. And I played in the secondary, right? So I was a cornerback. And you're reading those QB's eyes, right? I had no idea where this guy was looking. And none of the guys in the secondary did. And he was so good, man. He would fling that ball. And anyway, so the eyes matter. It'd be a lot easier to see eyes, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Peyton Manning, dude, that guy was incredible. The way he would look at a receiver, but he was looking that way, and then he would just throw it that way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They also might have to start blurring the players' mouths if you...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because if we could see, you're going to hear all the language.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some of these boys need to fix their potty mouths,
Well,
man.
it's funny. I was coaching a 7th grade PG Little League football team, and one of the BYU assistant coaches came to speak to the kids. Well, he swore while he was speaking, and to the kids, it was as if the world had ended. What? He can't swear? Can he do that? And I was like, welcome to football.
I'm telling you, man. But let me ask. Here's another topic. Let's talk about this for a minute. What does using profanity truly do for someone? Like, I think there's a time and a place. However, on the regular, what is that truly doing for someone? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Well, so I view it a little differently, because when I lived in Africa for 7 years of my life, and over there, our profanity is not the same for them. So the words are just in their normal conversations and sentences. And so living there and hearing it in different contexts, it was like, okay, is it really that bad? Or when is the time and a place? But then here, where it's so offensive, I think, see, and I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but if someone were to swear in front of me, if it's just guys, I almost never say anything.
Same.
But as soon as there's a female,
Interesting.
then I immediately step. I'm like,
Interesting.
Let's be more respectful. And in reality, it's like it should be the same across the board.
Yeah.
But I think the way our culture is around curse words, that's a good question.
It is. Yeah, for me, and some people may not like this. My mom definitely probably won't like it, but I've never truly been offended by foul language. I think it's because I've been around it my whole life. However, I feel like those that use it on a regular basis, as harsh as this sounds, they just don't sound as intelligent to me.
Yeah.
I feel like those that can choose the moments to use it, it can be a lot more powerful.
Yeah.
If you don't do it often.
Yeah.
Now, if you're dropping the bombs 24/7, like, how are we going to know that you're really, really furious?
Yeah.
Or so like, I think there's a time and a place to use it. I don't choose to use it. I mean, unless I'm livid.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said
with a hammer or something.
Yeah. It's I think there's a time and a place, but even then there really isn't. And there's something to be said about people that can speak their mind in a way that doesn't have a bunch of bombs, you know?
Yeah.
And that's my personal opinion, and no judgment.
I'm curious now, now that we're on the subject, I got a question for you.
Yeah, man.
Especially with you being around athletes and different celebrities, what is your thought on the use of the N-word?
You know, it's funny. So I played with a lot of my favorite brothers in the whole world, dude. All these black dudes were the greatest guys, and they use the word regularly.
Yeah.
So I just knew that there wasn't a time or place for me to say it. But what was funny is my brother could say it to them, and they would, what's up, dude? You know, like he could. I don't get it. Like some people can get away with it, most people cannot. But you know, for me, I know a lot of folks that use it. It's almost like a term of endearment. Yeah. Right. But there's a negative connotation associated with that word because of the past, and so I mean, I never use it. It doesn't bug me as much if I hear, you know, some of the boys say it to their friends and stuff. I'm not here or there with it. I feel like there's some definite places or times that it should never be used. Yeah.
I think context and place and time.
Yeah, I agree. And I really, and I don't know why, I have never seen color of skin as being, everyone's the same, man. Like some of my close friends, you know, their skin color is a lot different than mine, right? And they're my brothers. But I think it would be better to keep the word, you know, away from your vocabulary. But at the same time, I've also seen my buddies use it, and they use it as a term of endearment. Yeah. How do you feel?
For me, it's all context, because if it's someone I know and I'm friendly with and they say it, I don't care. Yeah. But if it's like the random person and we're playing a competitive sport, I'm like, I shouldn't get angry. It's just a word, but I'm going to get angry and show them. Now, luckily, since I work out, usually kids will not, will never say it to me, but I got to show you this. So
show it to me.
Whenever I approach kids at the gym, some will be intimidated by me. Mm-hmm. And so I'll ask them, I can't believe I'm going to say
look at this, how ripped this guy is. Of course they're going to be intimidated. You should probably just rip it off, dude.
Say this on the podcast, but I'll say to them, I want you to look at me and I want you to tell me, if we were at a slave auction, how much you would pay for me. It is the best, and they feel so awkward. But then here's what I follow with. I'm like, if you answer it, I'll drop this to your phone. And this is in my Apple Wallet.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But with those two things, I have never had kids open up and talk to me. It's like every wall was just shattered. And that leads to great conversations.
For sure, man.
And things. And so for me, it's like, I feel like sometimes we take ourselves too seriously. I've done that a lot. Sometimes we play the victim card too much. But for me, I'm like, it's all about the context, the place, and the time.
I totally agree. One of my favorite people in the world, and every time I see him, he's like, "What's up, cracker?" And I'm like, "What's up?" You know, like, he's one of my favorite people in the whole world. Al, I'm talking to you, brother. You can call me that anytime, because I love that guy. Yeah. And it's his way of telling me that he loves me. Yeah. And, you know, it's also the biggest thing above all is you have a choice to be offended. Like, so my mission president gave me one of the greatest pieces of advice right before I left. It was two pieces. He said, Scott, or Elder Warner, as soon as you get home, go find an amazing young daughter of God and take her to the temple and marry her. And he said, number 2, never choose to be offended, ever. He says, if you choose not to be offended, life will be so much more beautiful. Do not get offended. That's your choice. Yeah. That's your choice. So if you want to get all lit over being called a name, that's your choice, man. Yeah. Or you can let it brush off your shoulder, just like the Savior did, because the Savior was called more names and still is called names. Yeah. And he always just let it be and chose not to get offended and just did his thing. And I think there's something to be said about those that choose not to be offended when they easily could be, based on how the world perceives whatever it is they should be offended about.
I love that. I think you're right. That used to be my issue, is I was always getting offended, even when someone wouldn't say anything to me. Just the actions, I would choose to get offended. And one of my very close friends gave me the book by Mel Robbins, The Let Them Theory. Yeah. And he's like, you should read this. Yeah. And just studying that and understanding that book and that principle of like, just let them.
Yeah.
It's going to happen anyways.
That's right.
If you choose to dedicate your time and your energy to them, you've done more harm to yourself than they even did.
That's right. And I've told a couple of my friends, for 1 week, I want you to try this for 1 week, and you really got to be committed to it. Choose not to get offended about anything for 1 week. So the minute that you start getting revved up about, being offended over whatever it is, choose not to be and watch what happens, because it's a choice. You have to make that choice. And life is different, man. It's different when you choose not to get offended. And I've had moments where I've chosen to get offended. And it's interesting because it's moments that, I'm having a tough time or whatever. And even then, choose not to be offended.
Love that. I want to pivot the conversation because with your experience and who you know and where you've been, I'm super curious for your answer to this question.
Yeah.
So let me set the stage. So you're at a dinner.
Mm-hmm.
It's you, and you can have 3 guests from history, dead or alive.
Dead or alive.
That can join you. So I want to know who they are, and then what are you guys eating?
Oh my, woo. Okay. I can tell you right now we're going to be at Mama's Fish House in Maui.
Okay.
You been there?
Nope.
I'll tell you one that is really getting close to Mama's Fish House, the greatest restaurant on the face of the earth, is STK. Have you had a steak from STK? We might have to go tonight, man. Okay, so STK is doing it right. So that's what we're eating.
They're better than
yes.
Ruth Chris?
I don't even have to. Yes.
Okay.
Ruth Chris used to be Fleming's Ruth Chris. I used to be a regular at both of those places. STK is different, and their sides are ridiculous. Okay. Man, that's a tough question. That's a really, really tough question. But I'm gonna go with George Washington.
Okay.
I am going to go. I think a lot of people are going to say this. Love the Book of Mormon, and Captain Moroni would be one of the hosts. Yep. And then my final would probably be my grandpa.
Okay.
Who I didn't ever meet. He was killed in a car wreck back when my mom was a young lady, and I've always wondered. I'm anxious to meet him in the next life, but those would probably be my 3 right now.
Okay.
And if I thought about it more, I might switch out a couple of them. But I feel like those are good answers for me right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do you have 3 for you?
My 3 were, I have the most interesting combination. So Jesus.
Okay.
Adolf Hitler. And then my 3rd would probably be.
Okay.
Oh yeah, my 3rd would probably be either the Apostle Paul.
That's a good one.
Or probably Malcolm X.
That dude was a stud.
Yeah.
That dude was a stud.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the book I read about him, but I didn't read a book. I watched a documentary on him. That guy was the real deal. Can I speak to why I didn't say Jesus? And this is in no way, discrediting yours. I have really made an effort to try and get to know him. And I feel like I know him in a way that wouldn't require me to sit down and have dinner with him. I think deep down, you probably might feel the same way. But that would definitely be one of mine, but I just feel like he's there, man.
I love that.
I feel like he's there, and I have done my time to learn this guy, because I think that I think that's a great choice. But for me, that's kind of why I maybe didn't pick him.
I love that.
And that's not to discredit your choice.
Oh no.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. And my interesting part would be, I always would choose to eat Indian food, because I'd want us all to eat with our hands and do something communal where we're all having to reach in and share and just create that.
That's deep, man.
Yeah, just create that table for conversation.
That's deep. I like that.
And just, and you know how relationships are, and just having conversations. I feel like that would be the best conversation to have.
It's a great idea. I like that. I like that a lot.
So pivoting a little bit.
Yeah.
You served a mission.
Yeah.
I'm super curious for you. What does your faith mean to you? When you talk about your family, when you talk about how you operate in business, when you talk about just your personal life, what is your faith to you?
My faith is my roadmap. It's hard to put into words what my faith means to me, because I wouldn't be where I am today without it. It gives me so much peace, understanding, and direction. There's a lot of people without direction in this life, and I think that faith can really change one's mentality, and I think that it guides my every move. It helps me with decision making and with reason, and helps me with priorities. My faith is focused on the things that truly matter and helps me prioritize. Every single morning that I wake up, I have hope. Every single morning. And I think hope is one of the most important things that we as human beings need.
Yeah.
The minute that you don't have hope, the minute most everything will fall apart in life. And so my faith gives me hope. Every single morning I wake up with hope and drive and reason. And so it literally guides me through the good and the bad times, and it gives me reason. So
that's powerful. That actually leads us into one of the things I do on my podcast. Just pull it up here. Is every guest that I have come on, I have them leave a question for the next guest. And so the question that was left for you is, what would you say to someone that is struggling to feel God's love in the present moment?
What would I say to someone that is struggling currently about God's love for them, essentially? Yeah. I would tell them to go look in the mirror and smile, and to spend a moment while you're looking in the mirror, thinking about all the good that's going on in your life. And for one moment, push aside all the negativity, the terrible things that might be happening in your life, the trials, the struggles. And for one minute or a few minutes, start recognizing how many blessings that you have in your life. And then start recognizing the feelings that you're having as you're thinking through these, and know that you're literally feeling God's love and the blessings that He's given to you. And it's easy to find God when you're grateful. I think gratitude is one of the most important things that any human should have, because gratitude is the essence of God's love, and He continues to bless those that are grateful. And a lot of times I have found that friends that have lost their way, they have forgotten to be grateful, and they've forgotten to look at the good in their life, and they lose their hope. And those are all things that I think, to stay connected to God the way that, maybe you once had or never had, it's all about recognizing the good in your life, because that comes directly from God. And I think we all have moments where we wonder, God, is He there? And He's always there. Yeah. And it's a matter of choosing to see Him there in your life, because He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Yeah, He's in the details. It's interesting. The first podcast I ever did, I said the phrase on the podcast, I said, when I die, I hope God knows me through the conversations I had with Him while I was here on earth. And for me, I think we forget that we don't just pray when we need something. We don't just pray when we're in need of help or we're hurting, but we can pray just to say thank you. We can pray just to show gratitude.
That's right.
And I think sometimes we forget.
Yep.
But at the same time, God is always there. No matter when you reach out, He's always there, just waiting.
That's right. I think one of the things I'd like to share, and this is how I learned to pray when I was young. And I am telling you right now that God wants you to talk to Him just like you speak to a parent, a loved one, or even your best friend. He wants to hear from you and hear you speak to him like you would talk to your dad or your mother or your very best friend. And the minute that you start doing that in your life, watch what happens. Watch what happens. It changes everything. You got to make time to speak to him like your best friend, because when it all comes down to it, he is.
Yeah.
And if you can speak to him in the same way that you speak to, like I said, one of your parents or your best friend, it changes everything. It changes everything. I'm talking everything that's going on in your life. The good times, the bad times, appreciation, questions. He has a sense of humor. I can guarantee you that. Just be yourself and talk to him the way that you would talk to anyone else, and know that he is hearing you and he's loving it. He's loving you talking to him just like your best friend.
Yeah.
Do it.
I love that. Oh, thank you for sharing that. I want to say thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing so many golden nuggets. It's been amazing. I could interview you for hours. I would love to kind of round out with you sharing on what are you up to now in your life and what's exciting you.
Yeah, man. Having fun raising kids. You know, I'll tell you, one of the things I've had time to do in the past few months is start working on some things inside the house that have been bugging me for years. Just fixing a few things, but I am incredibly excited to step back into the entertainment and sports world. One project that I am out of my mind excited about, that a lot of my focus will be on, is the Professor of Rock. So if you don't know who the Professor of Rock is, look him up. Huge things on the horizon. We will continue to work with some of the biggest names in music and create opportunities for people across the globe to hear and learn from the greatest artists of all time, along with really pushing and promoting the greatest music to ever be written to ears that have not heard it yet, as well as some really fun things in the world of sports. I'm really excited about that. I'm incredibly excited about this new Spudly Donuts project. Literally the best donuts I've ever had in my life. I say that maybe a little biased. You know, just like Bam Bam's, when my cousin and I started Bam Bam's Barbecue, I said this is the best barbecue that I've ever had in my life.
I think I ate there yesterday or the
my
day
man.
before. I go once a week with somebody.
That's good, man. It's good protein. That's why you look, you know, rock solid, man. Thank you. It's all thanks to Bam Bam's Barbecue, ladies and gentlemen. And then the donuts, you know, best donuts I ever had, and it's a crazy story, maybe a story for another day, how it all came to be. But I have an amazing partner. She has been, you know, they're called Spud Nuts. So a lot of potato in these donuts, if you ever had one. But that's fun, and we plan to dot the map. We will, and so it's really excited about that, man. And just excited about what's next, man. I see life very differently after some of the recent happenings in my life, and I'm just grateful. I'm starting to see the things that matter a lot more than I ever did, and good times are ahead.
Amazing. I'm excited to follow your journey and see what happens.
Same, man. Same with you.
It's always good to have guests come on that just have been through life and experiences, because a lot of my audience is younger, college age, and so everything you shared here, I think they can soak it in and use it.
Hopefully they can.
I think I'll end the podcast this way. If you were to be remembered for one word, what would that word be?
Courage.
Love that. Awesome.
That would be the word for me. I think that courage is one of the most important things, especially this day and age, to have. And if you have courage to stand up for what's right, or to do the things that are tough, or to take the plunge into starting a business, or just to being a good human being, it takes courage.
Yeah.
And I hope that I'm remembered for having courage.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.